us. I don't think we want to reflect too much on the midweek game. I just wondered if you'd had any different thoughts, any further thoughts. There's always a change. There's sometimes a change when you reflect on the game with a little bit of time. But looking back, a disappointing night. And have you changed your opinion?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think there's been a lot of games this year where you say something, you feel a bit emotional after a final whistle, but I didn't feel really emotional. I felt very disappointed, and everything we watched pretty much backed it up. The first 20 minutes just dictates the whole game, and really disappointing start. I think we just weren't anywhere near as competitive or as intense as we usually are or need to be to really perform. And when teams are set up to be that aggressive and to set up to stop us doing what we're doing, because most games at this level tend to have a certain pattern, and it's very much about percentages and winning second balls, and which is fine. Everyone's got a different way of doing things, but a lot of games we watch, it's a lot like that. And then a team slowly dictates what then happens because they're more competitive. They're on the day they have more energy, more athleticism, and then with us, I think teams have obvious patterns to try and stop, and sometimes that makes it a bit different in maybe the way they prepare, the way they set up for games, because a lot of the games we watch, teams then set up very differently against us. Because of what we do, how we do it, and when that happens, we have to be able to live up to the billing, and we have to be able to manage that and match that much better than we did on Tuesday night. So that was really disappointing. But yeah, as I said to you on the night, and it's been the same. It doesn't affect how I feel about the group. What I think we need moving forward to improve. I think the disappointing thing is we made really poor decisions that we don't usually make, and that's because we concede a goal so early on. We're not organised or controlled enough in the build up, and we get caught on the counter attack. So I'm rabbled on there, but I don't think I feel any different about the game or the players and what we need to put it right. And I'm looking forward to what should be a really good game tomorrow.
And one of the positives, obviously, is your strikers scoring goals, and another goal for Will and for Charlie as well, which is a real bonus. And just on Will, do you feel that there's a sense from him that he almost needs to prove himself, not to you or to his teammates, but there's a sense that he needs to prove to everyone that he's still got it and he can still score goals, and this is helping.
Yeah, I think whatever is motivating Will to do what he's doing at the moment is, I think intrinsically he'll definitely have that motivation. He's not someone who's driven by money or accolades, or I think what he's driven by is having the respect of his teammates. We all know what a good player he is. I think he's driven by he's had a tough time, and I think he just wants to show that actually I think one of the things he's been accused of, probably unfairly from people that won't know him or are not behind closed doors, is probably losing a bit of hunger. When I spoke to a few people about him and people questioning that, and I think it's one thing you never really want to be questioned about as a character or a person, and he hasn't. And I think rather than his ability, I think he's because I don't think you can question that of his goal scoring record over the years. I think rather than it proving people wrong about his ability, it'll be about his character, and I'm delighted he's doing that, and he's been brilliant for us. We're going to have to manage him because he's playing a lot of football after not playing a lot of football, but he's become really important for us really quickly, and as I've said a few times now, I'm delighted to have him, and as long as he can keep proving us right and other people wrong about his the hunger and desire he still has to be as good as he can be, to keep improving, not just score goals but to really add to the team in other ways, then we're really enjoying having him here.
And having a player like Charlie Brown, standing up, knocking very hard on your door with goals in games. That's great for you, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. We've got some real firepower now. We look really threatening. We look real goal threat, which is great. Charlie, yeah, he just brings us so much energy, so much enthusiasm, real grit, and a bit of devilment that I really like. And he's really hungry. It's same as Will. They're at different stages in their career, but they're both extremely hungry I think to play in a team they feel suits them, to be in an environment that suits them. And Charlie is obviously he's come on and improved so much in a short space of time. Physically, mentally, he's great, and he's he's a very good footballer. You've seen that in the appearances he's made. Some of the touches he had the other night, and he's full of confidence now. You could sense that at Shrewsbury. Another chance fell to him, and being in the right place at the right time. Some really good link-up play with him and Joe Mason, and we've got 4 really exciting options up front now, and we're not just relying on one person, which is a brilliant thing.
Just on the game against Oxford, when you come up against a former manager of MK Dons and a manager that's had a degree of success, is there anything extra motivational for you to kind of get one over on a previous manager, or just is those things that we dream up as fans and media? We imagine that you'd want to do one over on Carl Robinson because obviously he's a former MK Dons manager, but is it just another game? It's not just another game, it's quite an important game because of where you are in the league, but does any of that matter?
Not really for me, no. It's not about it's not about my ego or their manager's ego. It's about our teams performing, and for me it makes no difference at all. I've said before, I have real respect for the job he did here over a period of time. He's not been here for a long time now. He's in charge of another team. They're a good team. It'll be a tough game. I want to win regardless of who their manager is, so it doesn't add anything extra for me. Coming back to a previous club probably adds a little bit extra for him, I'm sure, but not for me, no.
And it's interesting, isn't it, because you're both very much informed teams who've lost midweek. It's amazing how these things pan out.
Yeah, and we spoke to the guys about this little run of games we've got, about all 3 teams being right up there in the form table, and they'll be as desperate as us to get straight back onto winning ways. And I think when you have a bit of momentum and stuff, you have to make sure that when you have a defeat and a disappointment, you bounce back really quickly. So it's going to be a really interesting game. I think what you've just said adds even more. Makes it even more intriguing and more of an interesting game after, and see who bounces back the best after a disappointment during the week.
Just to kind of a bit of housekeeping, any injury issues or problems from Tuesday?
No, Louis Thompson's back today, which is brilliant. So it's all positive on the injury front. Yeah, Louis Thompson's back. Dave Kasuma's back, training properly. So really, really positive. Really, really positive. Apart from that, we picked up nothing new on Tuesday.
And I don't know what Toby's going to say, but no question from me about the playoffs. So please.
There you go.
I wonder why. No, that's it, Russ. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
So, Russ, playoffs. The early goals, we've mentioned it so many times earlier this season. It feels like it's reared its head again with 5 in the last 8 games of you conceded in the first 20 minutes. Is it just one of those things that just happens to have popped up again? Or is it, wandering back into the dark days of earlier this season?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a stat I really don't like. It's something we need to sort moving forward. I thought we'd sorted it, like you just said. I thought we'd sort of. And the thing is that there's no real pattern to the goals we conceded. If it was like one thing that was really costing us, it's been different things. Pretty much every single time. So we've been forensic in terms of having a look at it, investigating it, trying to see what and why. But it's been really difficult to nail down something. And I think, after speaking to Albie after the Shrewsbury game as well, he told his team that the best chance of them getting something was going really hard really early on, when teams have a lot of energy. I think, as you see, when we've been in games, we haven't conceded early. The longer the game goes on, the stronger we get, the better we get, because of the amount of the ball we have. So I think we have to be able to match and be prepared better to either control the game more and be more efficient, more detailed in possession, or to physically really compete with teams, because they are coming out really aggressive, really intense. I expect it to be no different tomorrow, and we have to find a way to navigate that. So we're constantly doing it. The players are brilliant in terms of finding solutions to problems and working with us to help them. And again, it's another case. But I really hate the fact we are talking about it again. It really hurts me, and it's up to ourselves to make sure we avoid it happening over the rest of the season, because, you know, as you said, 5 in the last 8 games, we can't let that continue towards the end of the season. We just can't. And as I said, we're preparing to try and improve and be better, and make sure that next season we're in a really healthy place. And conceding early goals doesn't allow us to do what we really want to do. So what I would say is that the guys, the amount of times they've come back from that early goal and the character they show to keep doing it and to keep growing, and the togetherness they show in doing it is incredible. But I wish they had to show that a little bit less.
When we played Oxford earlier this season, it was a game that saw your side drop to the bottom of the table, which I think was a bit felt out of character at the time. Certainly feels it now. I suppose it shows how far your side has come, that, you know, you're well away from that position, and in fact you're at the top of the bottom half.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know that. So I told you I don't really look at league table, and I didn't realise we'd been bottom at any point. But yes, it was really early on. It was both teams were in really different form back then. You know, they were struggling as well, hadn't won for a while. So yeah, I think it's a sort of sign of both teams coming a long way. We've come, considering how much change we've had even since then, you know, not just in the summer, and we were sort of dealing with that change at the time. We were having to rest players and rotate, and but the change we've had since then as well, to come as far as we have, is really brilliant, and I'm really proud of the guys for that. But we have to keep driving on now. We've put ourselves in a really good, strong position in terms of from where we were. It's not as strong or as good as I want it to be, but from where we were, I think it's been a fantastic effort. You know, averaging 2 points a game over the last 11 games is a huge effort, and we have to keep driving now and keep grinding on. And any successful team, or a team that's going to be successful over a long period of time, you have to have that relentless mindset to try and improve and drive on, and that'll be the case. We've certainly done that since then, and tomorrow, I guess, will be a good test for us to see how much we've changed since that game and how much they've changed as well. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. You can probably tell I'm really looking forward to it, especially after Tuesday.
And just finally, how pleasing was it to see Jordan Houghton back on the pitch on Tuesday night?
Yeah, great. I thought he was fantastic. I think you guys agreed as well on the night that he was really good. So he's been a big player for us, Geordie. He's been a huge player for us over a period of time. Obviously, he found himself out of the team because of Dave Kasuma, who's, you know, incredible form. Really, Dave was, for me, he was probably the best midfielder in the league at what he does. At the time he got injured, you know, we're watching training sessions, we go, he was really impressive. So for him to get injured was a big blow to us, and at that time we didn't have Geordie fit either, to a really bad tackle. So Geordie's been a huge part of what we've been doing on and off the pitch for the whole time we've been here. So to have him back is really pleasing. And you know, I said we're going to need everyone, and it's true, and I'm sure he's going to be an important part of what we're doing moving forward now as well. And for him to come back from such a long period out, to look so sharp, to look so ready and fit, is testament to his professionalism. And really pleased to have him back. I know I said finally, but I actually mean it this time. Nothing more on Scott Fraser's injury. You think he'll be back and in contention for tomorrow? Yeah, Scott, he's training today, so he'll be in contention for tomorrow, and it'll be good to have him back for sure. He brings us something different, you know. He brings something different to most players in this league. So it'll be nice to have Scotty back.